Get ready for an incredible animal that is super common, yet so finely tuned, so mysterious, you probably don't even know it exists. How you guys doing? I'm Chris Egnoto, and you are watching Nature Here and Now. Yeah, I'm excited. In fact, I am super excited to finally be getting to this video. It's about an animal that I've been dying to introduce to you for years now and never quite had the opportunity until today. This animal is so common, you will most likely find it in your backyard no matter where you live, and quite possibly even find it in your house. This animal happens to be an arachnid, and that includes scorpions, right? This is a scorpion. Well, okay. It lacks the tail that scorpions are famous for, but it's still a venomous creature. And I find them to be much more fascinating than scorpions. In fact, I find this animal to be just about the most fascinating animal in my entire country. Let me tell you why. This arachnid is known as the Pseudoscorpion, and you can easily see how it gets its name. I mean, it looks just like a scorpion minus the tail, hence the name Pseudoscorpion. Pretty much means false scorpion. And as I told you, these animals are super common and can be found almost anywhere. I'm sure you're saying right now, if this animal is so common, how come I haven't seen one before? Well, as you might know, scorpions are actually pretty easy to find. You go out at night, equip yourself with a UV light, and they just fluoresce outstandingly. You can spot these things a mile away. Unfortunately, pseudoscorpions are not so easy to find. While they are everywhere, they've got a trick up their sleeve. They're tiny. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. They could range anywhere from 2 millimeters to half an inch. That's a small arachnid. In fact, I wonder if it's the smallest. Like all arachnids, pseudoscorpions have two body parts. The cephalothorax, which is the fused head and thorax region, and the abdomen, which in most cases is multi-segmented. Like all arachnids, they have 8 legs, and pseudoscorpions have anywhere from 2 to 4 eyes. Of course, there are some species that have no eyes whatsoever. So, unlike scorpions, the pseudoscorpions are lacking that venomous tail, but they're still equipped with those traditional pedipalps. You know, those are formidable claws that they use for interacting with their world and, of course, securing prey. Get ready for the amazing part. Those pedipalps have claws at the end, just like a scorpion, except these claws are equipped with venom. That's right, they are venomous. When they snatch their prey up, upon closing the movable finger on the claw, it actually injects a venom into their prey that paralyzes it. How incredible is that? Instead of relying on a tail that's way back there, it actually delivers that venom with its very hands. Sounds pretty effective in my opinion. And if you're wondering how the pseudoscorpion delivers that venom, well, each claw has a little tooth, usually at the tip, which works quite like a hypodermic needle. That tooth is connected to a venom gland, usually within either the finger of the claw or the base of the claw itself. Some species have 1 gland per claw, and some species actually have 2 glands per claw. Most pseudoscorpions are venomous, but there are a couple species that are non-venomous. Quite similar to spiders, once their prey is immobilized, pseudoscorpions will issue or exude this powerful saliva over the bodies of their prey items. This powerful saliva obviously begins the digestion process. Once things are soft enough, the pseudoscorpion will suck up that nutritious slurry, quite similar to an invertebrate smoothie. I wonder how smooth it really is, though. Pretty smooth. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that their venom is medically insignificant to humans, meaning they are completely harmless to us. In fact, they couldn't even pierce our skin if they wanted to, so fear not. To them, we're just part of the landscape. The preferred prey items of pseudoscorpions are tiny invertebrates. mostly springtails, fruit flies, thrips, sometimes little mites and even ticks and other tiny invertebrates. Something that's pretty funny about these arachnids is when they want to relocate to a new environment to find better horizons or new food sources or even broaden their gene pool, they participate in an act known as foracy. That's a fancy word for pretty much grabbing onto a host and hitching a ride elsewhere. And the way they do this quite often is to either hide under the elytra of a larger beetle or something, or quite often they'll actually grab onto the leg or whatnot with their claw and just hold on until it lands somewhere else and they let go and continue doing their thing. Another neat thing about pseudoscorpions is sometimes they can have a symbiotic relationship with other arthropods. There's a large beetle, where the pseudoscorpions often live underneath its wings, and they'll feed on little mites and ticks and stuff that are scurrying about the beetle's body. So it benefits the beetle to have the pseudoscorpion there feeding on the mites, and the pseudoscorpion has a safe place protected from some of the predators. Like many arachnids, these have poor eyesight, and they rely more on setae, which are little hairs found on their pedipalps. Scorpions do the same thing. When a prey item walks by, it causes these hairs to vibrate. God forbid it actually bumps it. And immediately these pseudoscorpions will latch onto the prey item almost instinctively, and that's when the venom is injected. Goodbye prey item, huh? There are over 3,000 species of pseudoscorpions around the world, and there's probably 2 or 3 times as many waiting to be discovered. But this species here, I've had a lot of trouble tracking down what it actually is. I'm pretty sure it is Chernidae coccophylla or something. I don't know. Again, they are often tiny, but believe it or not, they have long lifespans. The species in this video can live anywhere from 2 to 4 years. That tiny dot can be 4 years old. Oh my God. So yeah, they have that venomous bite, not in the tail, but in the claws. They do it their way instead of producing it from a tail. Such a wise design, but, well, that's not all. Now, I told you that I find these to be some of the most fascinating animals on Earth, right? I'm not lying. I mean, like the scorpions, they are venomous. They have long lifespans, but here is the kicker. Quite similar to spiders, well, very similar in fact, these arachnids produce silk. A scorpion that produces silk. Go figure. Except, once again, they do it their way, not the way the spiders do it. Who's got time for that? Ain't nobody got time for that. No, they produce it from their jaws or their chelicerae up front. They have these little silk glands in the front of their mouth parts that spins the silk. But that silk is not used for building webs or entrapping and snaring their prey. No, it's pretty much just reserved for molting. They built a little tent maybe to overwinter or to live out cold spells in the weather, and they also utilize it for mating, quite similar to like tarantulas and stuff. They'll lay down this little carpet and then deposit a spermatophore. That's what scorpions do too. The males will deposit the sperm on the ground, and then they either lay out a trail of silk that leads the female to that spermatophore, or they do a bit of a dance, and then they're like, come with me, let me show you where the good stuff is. Another amazing thing about pseudoscorpions is there are some species out there that are partially social or eusocial, and they even have like somewhat of a caste system. Like, as an example, often the males will participate in a hunt. They'll go out and secure food, and it's really neat because they'll share their kill. Of course, the hunters, if they're successful, they get the first pick. They get to start eating before any of the others do. and then finally the the nymphs or the immature pseudoscorpions, and those that didn't participate in the hunt get to join in on the feast. That's amazing for something so small. Wow. When I say these creatures are super common, I mean it. They're just very hard to find. Their preferred habitats are often under the bark of trees. These are rather flat creatures, and of course they're really small, so living beneath the bark between the wood and bark layer is a great space for them, especially because there will be many thrips and springtails and mites and stuff under that bark. But a lot of the time you can find them just beneath the leaf litter or in the soil itself. But I did tell you you could find them in your house, didn't I? A lot of pseudoscorpions will actually be, just underneath the carpeting or the wallpaper, and often they'll be found in closets, garages, basements. They like moist environments. It helps them to breathe. They rely on kind of like a tracheal system or spiracles, where they have these little openings in their bodies and air comes into them, but it's not efficient, which is why they're so small. If I say finely tuned, I mean it in every sense of the word. These animals are perfectly adapted for the world that they live in, and their size is no mistake. That allows them to live longer, find cover easier. Food is abundant. It doesn't take a lot of food to sustain you. And, well, this one here lives 3 to 4 years. If you see pseudoscorpions in your house, be happy. Don't harm the scorpion whatsoever. Don't do anything to it, because it is feeding on the things that actually are a nuisance. A lot of the mites, dust mites, which some people are allergic to, these things thrive off of the mites found in dust. So it's really easy for them to find food. But they'll feed on other mites and nymphs of all sorts of invertebrates. So, holy cow, right? These pseudoscorpions are actually amazing animals. Even though they're tiny, they live quite a long time. They're venomous, they produce silk, they're arachnids, they have multiple eyes, a ton of legs. How cool are these things? And, I intend to upload a video in the future showing you how to actually find these animals on your own and maybe even raise some, although I'm not the biggest fan of taking animals from the wild. You got to be good at raising thrips, springtails, or fruit flies, because you're going to have to be able to feed these animals. But yeah, pseudoscorpions, what an amazing species. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Believe me, it helps me tremendously, because this is actually my main source of income. And I need all the help I can get, because I'm disabled, Can't earn a whole lot of money when you're disabled. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching. I'm Chris Egnoto, and I'll see you in the next video. I wonder how many of these I'm mistaken for tick nymphs, or even mites. I mean, the pseudoscorpions hold their claws out, rather similar to how ticks hold their front legs out, waiting to latch onto their prey. I hope I didn't kill any. Cool side note, there's actually a Celticidae, which is a jumping spider, that mimics the pseudoscorpion. This thing looks almost identical, the way it holds its front pairs of legs together. It looks just like those modified pedipalps. Pretty cool.